The global landscape is shifting rapidly, and today we're covering some of the biggest stories shaping politics, diplomacy, protests, and economic shifts, from the war in Ukraine to a brewing dispute over Greenland, and even dramatic protests in New York City. Here's what you need to know. Russian President Vladimir Putin has announced that he is open to a US-backed ceasefire proposal in Ukraine, but he's got serious doubts about how it will work. The ceasefire, agreed to by Ukraine, would temporarily halt fighting along the front lines for 30 days, with both sides holding their positions. But Putin claims the plan could end up benefiting Ukraine, allowing its forces to regroup and receive more Western aid. At the same time, Russia has made it clear that any continuation of U.S. military support to Ukraine, even during the ceasefire, is unacceptable. And while Ukraine and its allies insist the deal could lead to long-term peace, Putin warns that unless it addresses what he calls the root causes of the war, it will only delay further conflict. Meanwhile, in Russia's Kursk region, Putin says Ukrainian troops are rapidly losing ground, claiming that those left have only two choices: surrender or die. Former President Donald Trump is once again making headlines, this time for his renewed push to bring Greenland under U.S. control. When asked about the potential annexation of Greenland, Trump responded bluntly, "I think it will happen. We have to do it for national security." Trump argues that as Russian and Chinese ships expand their presence in the Arctic, Greenland is becoming a critical strategic asset. He even questioned Denmark's claim over the island, suggesting that their historical claim might not be legitimate. His comments come just as Greenland's new government, which favors independence from Denmark, takes power. But so far, the new leadership has given no indication that they want to become part of the U.S. In New York City, tensions erupted as protesters flooded the lobby of Trump Tower to demand the release of Columbia University graduate student Mahmoud Khalil. The demonstration, organized by Jewish Voice for Peace, was in response to Khalil's arrest and potential deportation by the Trump administration over his pro-Palestinian activism. Protesters carried signs reading, "Fight Nazis, not students," and "Free Mahmoud, free Palestine." The NYPD arrested 98 people, clearing the building without injuries. Khalil, a legal permanent resident of the U.S., was detained by immigration authorities in Louisiana after Trump labeled him a radical foreign pro-Hamas student, vowing that his arrest was the first of many to come. A major legal ruling has ordered 6 U.S. agencies to reinstate thousands of employees who were unlawfully fired under Trump's federal workforce reduction plan. A federal judge found that the Office of Personnel Management had no authority to direct mass terminations at the Departments of Defense, Veterans Affairs, Agriculture, Energy, Interior, and Treasury. The decision affects thousands of workers who were dismissed under policies that critics say unfairly targeted probationary employees. A federal judge has temporarily blocked parts of a Trump executive order targeting law firm Perkins Coie. The administration accused the firm of undermining democratic elections due to its past work on the Steele dossier. The order sought to revoke security clearances, bar employees from federal buildings, and block government contracts. But the court ruled that the order was likely unconstitutional and warned that it could have a chilling effect on lawyers representing cases against the administration. Critics argue this was a politically motivated attack rather than a legitimate national security move. In the UK, the Russian captain of the Solong cargo ship has been detained for gross negligence manslaughter after his vessel crashed into a U.S. fuel tanker. The collision, which occurred off the coast of England, left one crew member missing and presumed dead. The tanker, Stena Immaculate, was anchored at the time of impact, raising serious questions about how the crash happened despite modern navigation systems. While British officials say there is no evidence of foul play, investigations are ongoing, with the U.S. and Portugal leading the case. Meanwhile, the damaged ship remains anchored, and the Russian embassy has yet to comment. Some good news for consumers: egg prices have dropped by an average of $1.85 per dozen, according to Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins. The decline follows a $1 billion federal investment aimed at combating avian flu, which devastated poultry farms. However, the relief might not last long. Experts warn that with Easter approaching, prices could spike again due to increased demand. Despite the recent drop, egg costs remain significantly higher than they were a year ago. In a surprising move, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer has announced that he will vote to advance the GOP's government funding bill despite previously opposing it. The bill includes significant increases in Pentagon funding, but has drawn criticism for potential cuts to non-defense spending. A new Quinnipiac poll reveals that 53% of voters would blame Republicans for a government shutdown, compared to 32% who would blame Democrats. Schumer's support could be the key to securing enough votes to prevent a shutdown, but opposition within his own party remains strong. The U.S. Postal Service is planning to reduce its workforce by 10,000 employees through voluntary early retirement. The move is part of a broader effort to save $36 billion over the next decade. Postmaster General Louis DeJoy cited financial mismanagement, regulatory burdens, and unfunded mandates as major challenges facing USPS. While the job cuts are voluntary, some critics argue they could lead to longer delivery times and reduced services. Johns Hopkins University is cutting more than 2,000 jobs after losing $800 million in federal grants. The layoffs will impact major health programs, including J.H. Piego and the Bloomberg School of Public Health. The cuts will affect both international and domestic positions, dealing a significant blow to Maryland's economy, where the university is a major employer. With global health funding shrinking, experts warn that further cuts in public health programs could be on the horizon. That's all for tonight's news update. Thank you for joining us. We'll continue to monitor these stories and bring you the latest developments. Stay safe, stay informed, and have a good night. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update.